welcome back to Asher Books. So I'm here today to do another recent reads. I hope you guys have been okay with the recent reads, and I know I've been a little more sporadic with my videos lately. I'm trying my best. I'm not gonna lie, coming into the holiday season might be a little bit less posting than normal just because I typically film on weekends, and the weekends during the holidays just seem to fill up like that. But I'm gonna do my very, very best, especially with some like year-end videos and stuff like that. So today I'm gonna talk about the books that I've read over the past I'd say 3 or 4 weeks. I'm not sure if I'm gonna call this October recent reads or November because they've kind of been read at half and half, but regardless, I'm kind of liking this style of recent reads just because it lets me kind of be free and film it whenever I want after I've read about 5 or 6 books rather than like trying to read them to get to a certain time of the month, if that makes any sense. Anyways, also if my cat starts meowing, she's okay. She just wants some attention because I just got home from work and she wants some pets. So the first book I read was called What Do You See? And it was by, I gotta look down at the author, it's by K. Dosel McClendon. So this book I gave 4 stars to. It was basically a book about a girl who was an athlete. I believe she was a runner, on the track team in college. She was very athletic, very kind of outgoing, and she gets in this accident that actually happens before the start of the book. And she's starting to have these moments where she can't see. And so she's slowly losing her vision basically. And she's kind of trying to come to terms with that. Obviously that's very heartbreaking. There's a lot going on with that. And then she meets a boy who is on the soccer team, and it's kind of their story, how he helps her kind of realize that she still has things to live for and that she still has plenty of things even if she can't see every minute of the day, because it kind of comes and goes. I really enjoyed this book. I will say for some reason I had a hard time kind of empathizing enough with the characters, and considering how emotional the story was, I don't know, I had a hard time feeling what they were feeling, but I still enjoyed the story. And the only other thing I wish is I kind of wish that the accident that happened, that she got hurt in, almost happened in the book rather than seeing a flashback. I just kind of felt like the impact of it would have been bigger, because I'm not a huge fan of off-page drama or things like that. I kind of want to see it on the page, so that's the only other kind of, I don't know, critique I have of that book. But it was definitely a very cute contemporary. It was a clean contemporary romance. If you want something with just a really sweet hero, I definitely look this one up. The next book I read was Into Deep by Julie Olivia, and the author very kindly sent me this book, and I really, really enjoyed this, and I think a lot of you guys would too, so I'm super happy to pass on the good word. I gave this one 4 stars. It was very close to a 5 stars, and it's more one of those things where the more I thought about it, I think it's definitely a 4.5. So in Into Deep, basically it is an office place romance, and it was done so well. So it's about our main character who basically, after having a boyfriend who she lived with for a long time, finds out he's cheating on her and has to kind of restart her life. So she moves into a new apartment and she dives into a job in a field that she's very passionate about but never really took the chance on before. And in this job, she meets I guess he is her boss. This was told from dual perspectives, so you got the boss and her perspectives. Blanking on names for right now, but they'll come to me eventually. I really like this. Obviously the romance is between the two of them, but I will say I didn't have any problem with the, I don't know, dynamic or power dynamic between the two. They definitely both pushed and pulled a lot. This book was really funny and had a ton of witty banter that I just really enjoyed. Also, they both have dogs that are the cutest and are definitely main characters in this book. So if you want something that's very steamy and a good office place romance where I think I said this in my review, but it was this book had so much angst that by the time the characters actually got together, I was just about dying for them to get together. So that's all a sign of it's good writing when you're just happened already. So yeah, I really like this one. I think a lot of people would like this if you want a good office place romance. The next book I read was Trick by Natalia Jaster. I think I mentioned that I was reading this one in my last video, and I have thus finished it, or since finished it, and I loved it. So this is a fantasy romance, but I definitely think it's a very character driven, character development heavy fantasy. It definitely has a cool world to it, but to me, it definitely is more about the characters developing than anything. So if that's your thing, go for it. If not, just go into it with that in mind, but I loved it. So the main idea behind this is it's about a princess and a court jester. And this court jester, or trick, there's a lot to him. There's a lot to him that doesn't meet the eye, and his backstory that you find out. And there's a princess who's been kind of very sheltered, very kind of just does what she's told because she feels like it's her duty as the princess to take on all of this kind of, work, and she doesn't really have fun or anything like that. So it's about the two of them really coming together and bringing out the best in each other. There's a lot more to the story than that, but a lot of it is kind of spoilery to me, and I went in kind of blank, and I think you should too. The writing in this was beautiful. I thought the writing was just really well done. I thoroughly enjoyed this book, and I really want to read more in the series because there are more books that take place in the same world. So if you're looking for a fantasy romance that's kind of different, to me it was really unique too. It has a lot of character development. I definitely recommend Trick. I gave it 5 stars. It is the book for the Lovely Ladies book club that we have. I believe our live show is going to be this Saturday, the 9th of November at 8 Eastern Time, 7 Central. If I believe it's still going to be on Avery's channel. If not, I'll link whose channel it's going to be on down below. But yeah, if you've read the book Trick, or you just want to come hear us talk about it, definitely come join us on the 9th. The next book I read was Earls Just Want to Have Fun by Shanna Galen. I heard the girls over on the Smart Women Read Romance podcast talking about this and knew I had to pick it up. Shanna Galen has been on my list to pick up for a while, so this was just a great excuse to finally jump in. I really enjoyed this one. So I will say, if you're one who wants a lot of, I don't know, historical accuracy and very plausible storylines, might not be for you. But for me, I just like the escape of it, and I like a good, fun storyline, so I loved it. So in this one, we have Marlo, who is a pickpocket and actually is working in one of the gangs in New York. And then we have Lord Dane. Basically, Lord Dane's brother picks up Marlo off the street because he has been told, or he kind of has put together these clues that he thinks she is the missing daughter of this lord from a long time ago who was taken as a child. And so he wants to clean her up, present her to her parents. I believe there's also a fee he gets. Lord Dane is what is going on? And he is the most prim and proper lord you're ever gonna meet. And this book was so funny. So basically it's their story and the two of them kind of coming together. Obviously she does not have the best manners, or she's not very refined. She has been living in very dire situations for a very long time. And you kind of find out, is she who they think she is? Is she not? Are her memories gonna come back? It's really I will say this is very over the top, but I loved it. And I really thought it was hysterical. I love seeing Lord Dane and Marlo really come together, and I thought their love story was really great. And I give this one 5 stars. Okay, really quickly, I'm not going to dwell on this because I feel like I've talked about this ad nauseum, but I did do a reread of A Promise of Fire because after making that video a while back, or actually just a couple weeks ago, about my favorite fantasy romance, I had to reread this series. So I reread it. I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. It's definitely one of my faves. Pick it up if you haven't already. And the last book I want to talk about that I literally just finished last night was Lover Awakened by J.R. Ward. This is book 3 in the Black Decker Brotherhood series. I buddy read this one with Tosha from Book Diva, who is fabulous. And so if you haven't already followed her channel, definitely do. I will link her channel down below, but she is fabulous and has a really cool channel, and it'd be awesome if you go give her a follow. But we read this together and it was super fun, and I had been meaning to not finish because there's a lot of books, but continue this series. And everyone said this was their favorite book in the series, or a lot of people did. It was totally right. I mean, obviously I've only read 3, so who knows? One of the other ones could be my favorite. But this is Zadis' book and Bella's book. Zadis was a former blood slave, which means he just had horrible things happen to him in his past. And he is definitely not a cuddly person at the beginning. He's very rough, very closed off, very cold, and obviously you find out what happened and why he's that way, but his character development in this book was amazing. And from page 1 to the epilogue was just outstanding. I thought the author did such a good job. Bella really does kind of save him, and at the same time I think she truly does love him, and it was a beautiful love story. So if you haven't read this, I think I'm the last person on earth to read this, but if you are like me and you haven't, I definitely recommend. It was also really good on audio, so if you want to get that, it is in the Audible Escape package if you have that. So I loved it, and also so many things happened in here that kind of like open up new storylines, so it definitely sucked me in to want to read more in the series. Alright guys, so those are all of the books that I've read recently. Let me know what you guys are reading, or if you've read any of these, let me know your thoughts. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!